to consider tonight is the altitude. Of course, Toluca, 8,700 feet above altitude. It's one of the challenges for the Mexican players. For so long, they played domestically, and they were used to playing at Azteca and Toluca and some other regions. But now with so many of their players in Europe, it's more of an acclimation process. But of course, this group, many of them Mexican base. We'll see how Bermuda handles things. They put a lot of energy into these first 20 minutes.
Yeah, and Juan Carlos Osorio, prior to the 2018 World Cup, as they were going through qualifying, this was a big discussion on where they would play games, and was it really an advantage with all the European players, as you're talking about, for Mexico? He really had to manage that. He changed a couple games towards the end.
Here's Pineda. Leaves it for Calderon. Marlene Pineda with Cruz Azul. One of the Concacaf Champions League a year ago with Chivas. Now it's Jorge Sanchez, 21-year-old, gets his 5th cap tonight. Pineda creates space, and Eve, a sure-handed claim.
Nicely done here by Eve. Pineda did create that space, as you said, cut it to his right. Didn't need much to have a look at goal, and tough for the goalkeepers. It bounces about a yard and a half in front of him, but he takes it cleanly, as there were a few Mexican players crashing in on him. Nicely done by Dale Eve here.
Aguirre through midfield. Bermuda absorbing pressure. They have a goal. Dante Leverock. They have a lead in Mexico. Calderon. Macias, well defended.
This is what Bermuda will want to avoid when the ball's won, just knocking it long and giving it right back to Mexico. Now, once again, having to defend deep in your end.
Macias so calm. Finds a man in midfield. That far upper corner was the eye for Aguirre, the 22-year-olds. Good close down from Bermuda.
You see that initial shot earlier. He bounced right in front of Eve. It's a nice play. Cleanly gives his back four a little bit of confidence. The man behind them can take care of things. Start here from Bermuda.
Aguirre, the man who had the last shot, he is the lone Pachuca player in the starting lineup. He won the Champions League with Pachuca a couple of years ago. His 7th cap tonight. Still only 22. Eight of the starting 11 play in Mexico for El Tri tonight. Macias dropping into midfield. Good hit. Eve may have seen it late. It comes off his left hand, but he passes another test.
He wants some of his midfielders to cut across and defend a little bit better. Creates a bit of space. You see a little dip. He did see it a bit late. Dip on the ball goes down. Not an easy play for Eve. You see it go first start right at him and dip down to his left. Really nice job of not giving up a long rebound. I mentioned here, Eve so far up to each of the tasks here.
And we've seen Macias score goals in so many different ways. Still just 20 years old. Played with the U20s and U20 World Cup this year. There's a ball to the back post. And an easy catch that time for Eve. It came off the head of Pineda.
Kind of get the sense here that Mexico is growing into this one. They feel you get 20 minutes into the game, you're in this altitude, the lungs start to get heavy for Bermuda players that aren't used to it.
Wells trying to settle, well defended by Edson Alvarez. Now Alvarez, the center back, number 4, a $17 million transfer to Ajax in July. highly regarded part of the Gold Cup team for Mexico. Now it's Macias, a back heel. Delivery. Bermuda heads it away. Now space on this right side for Bermuda break. Here come the Gombe Warriors. It's Naki Wells. Oh, what a recovery run. Luis Romo on his debut. He had to get there. If not, it was Wells alone against Gonzalez.
Well, Naki Wells thought he had more time than he actually did. As you mentioned, Romo with the recovery.
Now 4 versus 5 for El Tri. Pineda. That might be the formula tonight for Bermuda. Attack with 2 or 3 on the break and see if they can beat Mexico in transition.
Yeah, no doubt. It's going to be a counterattacking team, counterattacking game for Bermuda. You can see here, Naki Wells, the only one not on your screen, all the way to the right here. Look how deep Bermuda is. Really a 4-5, if you will. Again, it's these balls here. A little bit frustrated there. Wants that ball played on the ground. Doesn't want to continue to battle Romo Moreno in the air the entire game.
Here's Cordova. Cordova on his left.
Wow.
What a strike! Sebastian Cordova levels things for El Tri.
Well, Tata Martino was looking for a response. We've seen this left foot tonight of Cordova, once on a cross from the left, then on the free kick at the top of the box. It should have been a warning sign for Bermuda. You need to close him down. He cuts across the face of the goal. Nobody closes him. He's got eyes for that upper far corner. That'll make Tata Martino happy. Cordova here. A magical left foot so far tonight. See the Bermuda defense as he cuts to his left foot, leaves Bascom in the dust. And look at it from Yves' view here. Absolutely nothing he could do. But as soon as Cordova cuts here, he knows exactly what he's looking to do. And he did it perfectly, tying it up for Mexico here, 1-1.
His first goal for El Tri, and it's a stunner. Cordova, another of these recent debutants for Tata Martino. He made his debut in October. It's already his 4th cap. He came up in the Club America Academy, still with Club America. Just 22. His body type and style of play reminds me a little bit of Luka Modric, plus the hair. And we know he can hit it with both feet, but that left foot is spectacular.
You're comparing him now to one of my favorite all-time players, Luka Modric.
It's a big comparison, but...
Oh, it's a great one, though. He plays in that mode. He plays at that rhythm, at that speed. Obviously, a different dominant foot. I love the comparison.
4 in the box now for Mexico, and a corner kick coming.
I'm sure he'd be flattered by it had he known someone was comparing him to Luka Modric.
Cordova, a short corner. Back to the goal scorer. And that's one of the challenges of playing in Mexico for everyone in Concacaf is they might be off as a team as we see a high boot. Here's the goal once more.
Look at this cut here. Oh, it doesn't get any prettier than that. Oh, he had about a foot more to go to the post to make it perfect. That's as good as it gets there.
But the challenge, Tony, for everyone that plays Mexico right now is even when they're not on, as you said, growing in the game, they have the individual players that can tie a game up. And we've seen it with Chucky Lozano in the Nations League. We've seen it with some of their other stars.
Well, they have difference makers in this group and guys that can break you down, and that's why they're so dangerous. Look how many young players Tata Martino's been able to bring into this group. You know, you talk about some of these veterans, especially defensively here. Araujo's at 28 years old. You talk about Salcedo at 33 years old. There's been some question marks, even with the heartbeat of this team. Hector Herrera is still 29 years old. If you start talking about the World Cup 3 or 4 years down the road, you don't want to have a bunch of 34-year-olds in your group. You got to have some young players. I think that's what Tata Martino's going to go back after this international window. Look at the number of players that he's been able to bring in camp since he's been here, and now make some decisions moving forward as we start creeping towards World Cup qualifiers.
Half hour gone. Mexico 1, Bermuda 1. Dante Leverock in the 10th minute. Spectacular tying goal. Sebastian Cordoba, his first for Mexico.
We'll see what Bermuda's response is here. They've been good so far. Tactically, they know what they want to do. It's these types of turnovers now. You get numbers forward, you hold it for a little bit, you see 5 or 6 blue jerseys in your screen. Now everybody just has to retreat now. It's an awful lot of work to continue to do this time in and time out throughout a game against the Mexican side that now is growing into a little bit of a rhythm here. A little possession in the midfield. The one guy who hasn't really gotten involved is number 18, Eric Aguirre. Guy that's been in and out of the national team. He's come through Pachuca with Chucky Lozano. Covered him in 2015 through qualifying for the World Cup and for the World Cup, and everyone expected he would be on the same pathway as Chucky Lozano. These are moments for a player like him that he can establish himself in Tata Martino's mind.
Macias from the top of the box. That's the thing with Macias. He's not simply a poacher that's going to sit between the goalposts and stay near a goal. He'll drop into midfield, pick up a ball, pick up his head and find a teammate, or try his own luck from distance.
You think about the forwards here. Certainly at the moment, Raul Jimenez is the #1 guy up top. He does a little bit of that. Chicharito is a little bit more of a poacher. He is also a guy with movement.
Help families in the Bahamas now. Everyone's still recovering from Hurricane Dorian. Visit www.unicefusa.org/CONCACAF. Pull back Antuna. Cross towards the penalty spot. Halfway cleared by Bermuda. Mexico back in possession through the goal scorer Sebastian Cordoba. Calderon. Now Macias. Back with Hector Moreno. Headed back by Calderon. Taking Bermuda a long time to clear it.
There'll be spells like this for Mexico where Bermuda's going to continuously feel pinned in their box. Something that Kyle Lightborn will have to deal with at halftime. How he can potentially break out different areas other than just knocking a ball long to Naki Wells.
Lightborn, a great playing career. Saw that hit from Aguirre, over 100 appearances with Stoke City. 16 goals for Bermuda in his playing days. Mexican under-17s, 3 finals in the last 8 years. Drumming the discussion for Tata Martino and the LigaMX owners. For fewer foreign spots. At the moment, 9 homegrown players allowed per match day in the 18-man roster.
One thing we're seeing from Bermuda, they're confident on the ball. When they get possession, it's a pretty good movement, taking up good spaces. There just hasn't been enough of it because Mexico's had the ball so much. As I say that, I almost put one out of play here. Better for Bermuda.
Pineda. There are the substitutes. A lot of firepower on the bench for Mexico. Raul Jimenez, Eric Gutierrez, Roberto Alvarado, Rodolfo Pizarro among the attacking players. No Lainez, no Chucky Lozano this time.
Jimenez there warming up pretty diligently.
Eleven shots already for Mexico. Bermuda efficient on the other end. A corner kick goal from Dante Leverock gave the visitors a lead in the 10th minute. Now Bermuda sitting very deep. Good tempo from Mexico. Delivery from the right. And a clearance from Leverock. Service came from Jorge Sanchez. Sanchez, another youngster, 21 years of age, his 5th cap tonight. Club America by way of the Santos Laguna Academy. Moreno, you just stand on it.
You said it's really, really deep here. They have made a switch. Donova's come over to this right-hand side of the field. Try and find some success down here. Really hasn't been all that involved in the game. Tough. Just going to try and clear a ball out like that. Mexico wins it back and right back to defending.
Antuna. Macias just off the mark.
Good coordination here by Antuna on the right-hand side with Jorge Sanchez, who makes a run looking for JJ Macias here. I think it bounces up just at that last second. Nice run in front of his defender. See how quickly the ball turns over and Mexico can get at you with speed.
Macias, part of the best 11 in LigaMX 2019 Clausura. A golden boot for the Concacaf Under-20 Championships. He scored 10 times in that tournament. Mexico now kind of doing whatever they want. No pressure on throw-ins. Time to pick out the passes.
I think the middle third of the field will be easy through possession for Mexico. We've seen that throughout the game. It has established that they're going to sit 40, 45 yards from goal, and that's where they'll start the defending. It's the movement like this from Mexico that will kill you in the end. And he's had a pretty good look there.
Turn in space for Aguirre. Christian Calderon. Free kick, Mexico.
Nakiwell's going to get a yellow card here, a little bit lazy on this tackle. He's come back to help defend. Just gets a leg out here. Calderon. It's an easy move to try and get around him. Foul and the yellow.
First booking of the night for Ismael Cornejo. Mexico scored from a similar spot as this in Bermuda in October. Hector Herrera took a short feed. Beautiful curling effort into the far corner.
So pretty. Didn't think twice about it. Knew exactly what he was doing. Buried his far post.
Here it comes to the near post, and Eve recovers. Well settled, but 1 versus 2, dispossessed by Luis Romo. Naki Wells, 104 career club goals, 15 goals combined the last couple of years on loan to QPR from Burnley, but some really good seasons in the English Championship. He scored 17 times a few years ago for Huddersfield Town.
England since 2010. Way there. It's going to be a tough night tonight. Kind of see what it's going to look like, what the picture's going to look like for Naki Wells. He's going to have to pick and choose his opportunities. He did have that one chance where he'd gotten in on goal. He took a bit too long. Jorge Sanchez came from behind and made the play.
Aguirre lays it off. Macias blocked. May have hit his teammate, the goal scorer, Cordova. Macias very active. He wants another chance. He's facilitating in midfield. Here comes Romo. Offside. A handball, I should say. There's the goal scorer, Cordova.
Handball. Bader tries to clear it here. Here's the earlier free kick. Down calmly, makes a play.
Wells wants it on his head. He tapped his forehead.
Won't battle for it here. It'll be a tough night if he keeps getting service 70 yards away on his head. Love the spirit, though. Wants to battle.
And Tuna draws a foul. Roger Lee doesn't like it. 28-year-old plays in Estonia. His 24th cap tonight.
Lot of movement. Look how deep it is now. Even Naki Wells is 40 yards from goal. Take coordinated movement from Mexico. Runs between defenders. Not a lot of space to play into.
Patience here from Orbelín Pineda. Shot off the mark from about 30 yards away.
Good rotation there, and as we saw earlier on, Mexico not afraid to shoot from distance. Somebody closes down. Pineda has a go.
Pineda, part of the Gold Cup winning team for Mexico this summer. Won the Champions League with Chivas last year. Now with Cruz Azul, it's his 26th cap. Back for Hugo Sanchez, 6-foot goalkeeper. Gonzalez also part of that Gold Cup winning team. Goal kick here. Bermuda wants a dive. You can see Mascom asking for simulation.
Ball played in. Not much in it. Slight contact. Sanchez goes down too easy here. Referee didn't look to blow a whistle. There was an assistant referee about 5 yards away from him. Not sure what Bascom was looking for. A yellow card, I suppose, for diving, but at this point, take your rest and get a goal kick and play upfield.
clear difference between simulation and leaping to avoid a tackle, as he did. Well, we saw Gonzalez lightly tested today, the goalkeeper, but he's an example that Martina might be referencing to. It's very tough as a Mexican goalie to play in LigaMX. There's so many foreign goalkeepers that are starting right now, but Gonzalez, a consistent starter in LigaMX the last few years, now getting his opportunity tonight.
And you mentioned having to go on loan to do it as a Mexican goalkeeper in the league.
Alvarez getting forward now, the center back, number 4 for Mexico. Sanchez. Handball, free kick to Mexico. At the hand of Blankendel, his competitive debut tonight.
Not sure he knew much about it as Sanchez was moving and cutting and weaving, and just popped up, hit him in the hand. Dangerous opportunity late here for Mexico. We saw this down in Bermuda. The late goal in the first half was a bit of a backbreaker for Bermuda.
Overhit that time by Cordova. Halftime in Toluca from Estadio Nemesio Diaz. Bermuda at the moment would have an automatic place in the 2021 Concacaf Gold Cup. They would leapfrog Panama here in Group B. A point would be enough. Dante Leverock, the captain, a headed goal from the corner kick. The opener, Cordova, the leveler. Your thoughts, Tony Miola?
I think the game's played out the way we thought it would outside of the scoreline here. I thought Mexico maybe would have had a few more opportunities. Credit to Dale Eve and his defense for standing tall here. It's going to look like this, I would think, in the second half, of counterattacking from Bermuda with Mexico dominating possession.
The highlights from the opening half from Toluca. Mexico in white, Bermuda in blue. A few wayward crosses to start, Tony Miola, and here was the goal.
Yeah, a few crosses swung in by Bermuda, and this came off a restart here as Dante Leverock just wanted it more than everybody. Stares around from the Mexican defense as they started to grow into the game here. Here's an opportunity. William Pineda, nicely done once again by Dale Eve. AJ Macias had some opportunities as well. And after Bermuda scored, Mexico turned it on just a bit here. They got into this final third of the field with a fair amount of ease. As you can see here, knocking it into spaces, and this was the cutback. And then the shot by Sebastian Cordova. And buries it to the far post here, tying it up 1-1. Absolutely nothing Dale Eve could do on this one. There were some other opportunities for Mexico. They couldn't find the back of the net, but they created quite a bit here late in the first half. Bermuda will have to deal with this sort of play for Mexico. A lot of movement in the box. So far, they've been pretty good with managing it.
Antuna wide with the header here. It was the first goal for Sebastian Cordova. Comes in his 4th cap. Another look at Antuna's miss. And here's another look at the opener. Leverock, who earned it physically. His 4th goal. Well, a few double looks tonight, Tony.
Dale Eve has had a pretty good first half here, as we saw on the goal. Nothing he could do, but these little tricky plays in front of him. He's been pretty clean. He's organized his defense. Everyone's sitting deep. Sometimes tough for the goalkeeper, Matt. You've got all those bodies in front of you. You really got to concentrate and study a ball as it goes past defenders. Oftentimes you can't really make a move, worried about a deflection. Either way, this one ends at the half 1-1. Mexico dominating possession. 15
shots for El Tri. Very few fouls. Pretty clean game, but a performance you'd expect from Mexico. And Bermuda, if they can will their way for 45 minutes, keep the score level, or get out of here with the draw, they will be in the Gold Cup in 2021. Oh, a great shot, Tony. U17s just back from the World Cup.
Yeah, great performance by this group, losing late, getting to a final of a World Cup. There's not many players, doesn't matter what level you're playing at, can say that. It's really well done by this young group of men.
Silver medals around their necks and jackets on a cold night in Toluca. Halftime in Toluca. It's Mexico 1 and Bermuda 1.
3, 4.
Hola, buenas noches. Muchas gracias, afición de México, por el apoyo incondicional que recibimos de parte de todos ustedes a lo largo de toda esta Copa del Mundo. Decirles que estamos muy contentos y muy orgullosos de este equipo por el logro obtenido en este Mundial, por el subcampeonato y por representar dignamente a este escudo y a este gran país. Muchas gracias. Gracias.
Beautiful backdrop. La Bombonera, this place opened in 1954, renovated just a few years ago. 2 World Cups here, including a memorable quarterfinal. Italy 4, Mexico 1 in 1970. It has to be one of the best stadiums in the Western Hemisphere, Tony.
Yeah, it's a pretty stadium, been renovated. It's a nice place to play. Saw some earlier shots in that first half. Great crowds here at this stadium. Always love when the Mexican national team goes there to play. When I think of the Mexican national team, though, I still think of Azteca. It's the place that I think about the group. And as we were talking about earlier, there was a period of time when everyone started going over to Europe that it wasn't necessarily the fortress that it had always had been. Excuse me. And you look at it now, and Tata Martino trying to spread the love around, and we're seeing, and I think we're going to see over the next 2 years as they go through friendlies, they play an awful lot in the United States. So when they have opportunities to go back to Mexico, they're playing in different venues, and I think we're going to see more of that.
Energetic crowd tonight, 54 degrees at kickoff. Approaching the end of autumn, the turn of winter. Cordova, the goal scorer for Mexico. And a lot to play for Bermuda. A draw does the job for them and gets them to the Gold Cup in 2021. Here we go in the second half. Mexico in white, Bermuda in blue. Bermuda held a 1-0 lead. Dante Leverock, the opening goal. And then a sensational equalizer, Sebastian Cordova. Do you expect a change from either side tactically here in the second half?
I think Mexico, I'd expect them to see, we saw right there, J.J. Macias chasing down the goalkeeper. A little bit more pressure on this back four when they have the ball. This has been pretty solid for Mexico here as balls get cleared. They win this first one. Now they're right back on the attack. A little bit higher line here for Bermuda, which is surprising, but at some point you have to say, I've got to go out and I've got to challenge the opponent. I can't continue to sit at the top of my box because there's so many things that can go wrong. Nice turn here. Well defended in the end by Blankendahl. He's having a pretty good debut right now.
Now Blankendahl, some news reports about him getting his debut, getting his call up, played with Dandy Town, and a lot of the locals excited about his opportunity to represent Bermuda from the Bermuda top flight, just 21 years of age. Short corner for Mexico. Edson Alvarez creates space. A delivery from Sanchez. Good layoff. Now the break might be off for Bermuda. 3 versus 4. He'll shoot from half field. And Gonzalez in a good position. Audacious effort, Naki Wells.
Well, it's audacious, but I'm sure the two runners, one to his right, one to his left, are probably having a word with him right now, or at least on the way back, because the break was on. They were 3v2. They had opportunities, and he went for the spectacular as two guys had made runs from deep. I suppose if it ends up in the back of the net, we're talking about what a great goal it is. But when it doesn't, you have two players to answer to for sure.
Here's Antuna. Great space, back post. Late arriving. Corner kick to Mexico. It was Aguirre getting there from a tough angle.
Yeah, and good job making sure he gets to that back post. Good ball chipped in. Antuna gets around his defender. Pineda was in the box. Ends up at Aguirre. Really tricky play at that near post. Two Bermuda defenders in front of Dale Eve.
Pineda leaves it. It's Cordova. Strong clearing header, Dante Leverock.
Leverock's a beast in the air, huh?
And I will say, Tony, let's give credit to Hugo Gonzalez for staying back. It's very easy when your team is dominating the run of play to come out of your box. Here's Antuna. At the end line. Saved by Eve, but many other goalkeepers might be higher upfield. And on a counterattack, you might come out for a ball over the top, but he was in a good position.
Yeah, and Naki Wells clearly saw him at some point during that build-up off his line, but as you mentioned, Gonzalez makes the retreat back. When Naki Wells puts his head down, he had a lot of room in front of him. He had covered a lot of space, not much behind him.
What was your rule of thumb as a goalkeeper when your team is in possession, sustained pressure? Were you one that liked to stay back, or would you push out?
No. I was a risk taker. I was a guy who liked to play off his line, but that started to come into play. We're talking about Mexico here. When you think about Jorge Campos and the way that he played, Rene Higuita, Colombia, and the way that he played, that was in my era when we were starting, and the sweeper keeper, if you will, became really, really popular.
Macias back for Calderon. Cordova. Antuna. Clear.
We talk about that sweeper keeper. The one thing that you got to keep in mind is you have to play on a team. Everyone looks at Manuel Neuer, who did it for so many years at Bayern Munich. You have to play on a team that, one, has possession and plays with a high line. You could never ask Dale Eve tonight to play as a sweeper keeper because there's really nowhere to go. They're already sitting on his lap.
Antuna. Another cross. Headed out. And finally clear.
This is going to be tough for Bermuda here if this is what it's going to look like for the next 40 minutes or so.
Cordova helped up. It's been Antuna time and again in the second half, beating his man on the right wing.
Yeah, he's had his way down this right wing, this time against Blankendahl. It's not always been him defending as he's been inside, trying to get help on that left-hand side from Donowa early. Lewis.
Now Macias facilitating. He was part of the build-up on the goal to Cordova. He may have occupied one of those center midfielders that couldn't close down Cordova in time. He had the pass before the pass on the goal from Cordova.
Bermuda will take their time here to put this one in play. This will be their rest period now. I wonder at what point does the altitude really start to affect them.
(8,750 feet above sea level in Toluca. And now warnings for time wasting for Bermuda as Leverock will restart. And reports from the Bermuda media that they arrived only last night. And I guess there's two ways to do it. You either get there really early to acclimatize, or you come right before.
Yeah, and that's the two schools of thought. They choose to come as late as possible. They tell you that 2 or 3 day period, if you're there, that's the most difficult to deal with. So they chose to come as late as they could, get into camp last night. That first night of sleep when you go to altitude is always really, really important. Some people, some guys, some players really struggle to get a good night's sleep because they're adjusting to the altitude.
A lot of frustration there on the Bermuda bench. Kyle Lighthouse shouting instructions. At a training camp in Frisco, Texas this week, a handball is called. The break otherwise was on for Bermuda.
This is unfortunate for Bermuda here. Good call by the referee, I think. He got this one spot on.
Bermuda also staged a friendly with MLS side DC United. United in its off-season now in Major League Soccer. That game held in St. Croix. Well, that time Antuna stopped, but it is a corner kick. It was Jalen Bather sliding out. Plays for Robin Hood in Bermuda. Raul Jimenez among the substitutes getting loose. Another corner kick from Cordova. Top of the box, collision, and a foul called rightly against Calderon. He just kept his body flying forward, and he ran into Leverock.
I saw Jimenez warming up on the touchline there. Here you see the foul. Leverock coming through this one. Calderon looking for the shot, doesn't catch him. Yeah, he catches him there at the bottom of his boot. And so Jimenez warming up, but coming into this one, I thought this might be an opportunity for Jimenez to take a rest. He's got a weekend game on Saturday against Bournemouth, so we're already on Tuesday. He's going to travel tomorrow. Start talking about recovery. Tough for Jimenez. But of course, when you're a goal scorer, you see an opportunity like this where your team's got somebody pinned in for this portion of the game, this much time. You think, well, it's not a black cat on the field here, I guess, which is important, right? We've seen that in sports lately, but from Jimenez's standpoint, I think there's an opportunity to find some goals.
A tame field intruder. He's living out his 9 lives. No eyebrow raised from security. The feline back to his seat.
He hit some hops there too, huh?
After the entrance of the cat, back in play here from Dale Eve. Crowd coming to life in Toluca. Chance here for Bermuda. Bascombe, back post, too far. The intended target was Zyko Lewis. We have not called his name tonight. Plays with Charleston Battery in the USL Championship. Played college soccer at Boston College. But one of the goal-scoring threats, 9 goals already for Bermuda.
That was a nice look there by Bascombe to that far post. Good run by Lewis. He's really been quiet. Most of his work has been defensive here.
Jorge Sanchez did not get the cross as expected. Goal kick as Tata Martino looks on. See some of his assistants standing up as well. I don't know if they're trying to show urgency or maybe if they're just cold in those luxurious seats.
I think probably a little bit of urgency here. I think if you're in the Mexican camp in that beautiful stadium, Toluca,
some great traditions in Mexico, especially in the second halves with light displays, cell phones, coordinated orchestrations in LigaMX. The traditions carry over to the national team.
You're talking about that Mexican bench and the assistant coaches and the entire staff there standing up. I would think there's some sense of Santuna once again having to go down this right-hand side of the field. Can't pull it back. There's this probably head-scratching moment where you're saying, how are we not better than 1-1 at the moment based on the opportunities that we've created? You feel it coming. You also, if you told me, 35 minutes from now that Bermuda pulled one back on a counterattack, you wouldn't be so surprised.
It also shows the pressure in Mexico. They are going to be the #1 seed. They are through. They're the reigning Gold Cup winners, but every result sends the country and the media on watch. And the highs that the coaches and players can experience can change very quickly, as we saw with Juan Carlos Osorio at the last World Cup. The highs of beating Germany, the depths of losing to Sweden in the final group stage match. Can't really take a day off if you're the manager of El Tri.
And they never look settled. Juan Carlos Osorio prior to the World Cup were 2 poor results, one against Chile. As many games as you win, there's pressure on you every single game. And quite honestly, if you're Tata Martino, you're a loss in a final of the Nations League, say, against the U.S. from being under a lot of pressure, if that ever happens to you. So their one big loss came to Argentina. Tata Martino showed it just proves that we're not exactly where we want to be, where we think we were going to be. So there's still some work with this group.
Well, the game being played right now exactly how Bermuda wants. There's not a lot of rhythm. You have the cat slow things down for a few minutes, but hasn't been many chances either side. Bermuda will take it. A draw does the job. They will finish second of the group and automatically qualify for the Gold Cup in 2021. Cordova with Antuna. Cordova lays it. Sanchez. Free kick Bermuda. And it's almost as if rather than trying to counterattack, they're looking to simply draw a foul in midfield to collect their breath and kill some time.
Yeah, and you saw this play here. Donowa, he did make a little move. He had up top Naki Wells making a run, but you're right. He didn't try to fight through that foul at all. Slowed it down.
A change forthcoming for Mexico. It's Roberto Alvarado, started against Panama, the 3-0 victory on Friday. Antuna draws a free kick, fouled by Bascon.
Alvarado will give a little bit of a spark to this team here tonight. The way it's set up, cutting in from that right. I wonder if he goes for Antuna here. Seems to be the logical choice, but who knows, Tata may take a more defensive-minded player off here and get more into the attack.
One hour gone. It's Mexico 1, Bermuda 1. Ante Leverock, a headed goal from a corner kick in the 10th minute. And then Sebastian Cordova, his first for Mexico, spectacular. Left-footed hit from about 25 yards away into the upper corner. He came close on a free kick prior. And then he put it in a spot that Dale Eve could do nothing about. Pizarro also preparing to come on, the forward. He was getting instructions as well, so we might see a double change for Tata Martino just past the hour mark.
Tata Martino not taking any chances here. Wants to find a winner as they have yet again another opportunity at the near post. This time was Edson Alvarez. Can't steer it on frame.
Edson Alvarez, high acclaim. Cardinal Wolves had, I see, qualities similar to Rafa Marquez. He gave him his debut in LigaMX at age 19 with Club America. That's high praise, but Ajax paid $17 million for him.
Yeah.
Now a chance. Wells pulls it back. It's still Wells. Just past the far post, nearly there on the counterattack. For Bermuda, it was Justin Donawa.
Well, it's all Naki Wells here as this ball's played over the top. Well done cutting it back. He has a look up there. That one, I think, is a corner kick in the end. A good counter by Bermuda. That's really going to be what Mexico will have to deal with as Pineda comes off for Pizarro. That's a like for like.
Alvarado is the other change. Roberto Alvarado, 21-year-old, makes his 17th appearance for Mexico tonight. A Cruz Azul man. And it looks like the other change is Eric Aguirre comes off.
Aguirre really didn't get involved in the game all that much tonight. Did do some dirty work defensively, but there wasn't a lot of it to do. Tata Martino with two very attack-minded substitutions going in here.
We should say Jorge Sanchez, good tackle on that chance a moment ago for Justin Donawa. As you said, it should have been a corner, but he basically blocked the shot with his slide. A rare chance for Bermuda tonight, but Sanchez did his job. Back for Hugo Gonzalez. Calderon. First touch is Rodolfo Pizarro. Monterrey man, age 25. Calderon will face up. Back for Luis Romo on his debut. Cordova lost it. Bermuda maybe growing in confidence on the break. Pass does not come off. Now is Tanawa again surging forward.
And Lewis had made a good run out here to the left wing. The recognition is closed down pretty quickly.
Pizarro for Antuna. Pizarro, clever turn, but it just slid past him over the end line.
Ball in here by Antuna, as you mentioned. Pizarro trying to turn, let it run through his legs and spin. Just runs away from him here. So Bermuda's going to make their first change.
Yellow card was shown. Now Bascombe, his final act is a yellow card from the referee Cornejo. Willie Clemens is the first change for Kyle Lightboard and Bermuda. Clemens plays in Sweden with Boden's BK, his 21st appearance tonight for the 25-year-old. Mexico has not found the rhythm it found at times in the first half.
And it's hard when a team is so deep like this. Looking at Bermuda in that low block, there's not going to be rhythm through that middle third of the field where it's real flowing. You're going to get to that final third, then you're going to kind of have to pick and probe where you want to go. The two substitutions, Alvarado and Pizarro, will give Tata Martino some movement that's desperately needed at the moment. Look how deep all those blue jerseys are. And because they're so tight, look at those center backs, there's not a lot of movement.
Hopeful cross. It's a good ball and just past the post. Antuna, really strong header. It was just floated there from Cordova. Antuna really steered it well.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that Dale Eve gets to this one. He may have had it covered from that look here. This will be a better look here. This one may have been past him. Yeah, he may have had it covered had it been on goal. That's a pretty good look right there.
Spectacular pass from Cordova through a crowd. Only Antuna can get to it. Bermuda commits a foul. Mexico breaks the other way. 68th minute, 1-1 in Toluca. Pocket of space here for Cordova.
Nice play here.
Pizarro, headed clear. Lost there by Wells. Enough on the clearance from the substitute, Willie Clemens. Wells fought for it. He commits a foul for a kick to Mexico. Alvarez goes down.
I think Naki Wells here is thinking that he's drawn a foul as the arm goes up around his neck. Alvarez goes through the ball, but I think the referee is looking at Naki Wells and the foot going through on Alvarez here. Naki Wells feels hard done by this.
Wells must be careful on a yellow card from the first half. Look at the space for Romo to walk it into the final third. Mexico thought there was a foul off the ball as Sanchez made a run central.
I don't think there was much in there. I think it's Sanchez just trying to draw a foul out of nothing.
18 shots for Mexico, and the cheers for that man as the warm-up top comes off. Raul Jimenez prepared to come on.
If anyone had any idea of Tata Martino's intentions of going forward, he's played his 3 cards, and they're all attacking substitutions here.
Kyle Lightbourne and his staff preparing to bring on Elon Butterfield. Another foul called on Naki Wells. There's Tata Martino. Won the MLS Cup with Atlanta United in Major League Soccer at the end of 2018. Hired by Mexico the following January. Completing just his 11th month in charge here in November.
I wonder what Tata does with all of this possession here. Does he take J.J. Macias off and go like for like? Does he take a defender off? Maybe go with both of them up top. Can they play together is the question.
Cordova. Nice turn from Sanchez. It's Roger Lee sliding over. Dual substitutions there. Jimenez for Mexico, Butterfield for Bermuda. Frustrations on Bermuda.
It's one way to organize your defense, and it is J.J. Macias, so it'll be like for like here. Cheers, Jimenez.
The number 9 for Mexico. Plays with Wolves in England in his prime at age 28. It's his 80th cap, already 22 goals for El Tri. Zyko Lewis is going to walk off. He scored in the friendly against DC United on Friday. It's Butterfield for Lewis.
This is a little bit more of a defensive change for Bermuda.
Roger Lee receiving treatment. He played at the University of Indianapolis, a Division II college in the United States, for his career, which has now taken him to Estonia.
You're unfortunate as Ada tries to get a shot on goal. Sorry, that's Calderon.
Now in the 73rd minute, Bermuda in a good position. They need to hold off Mexico. But if this result holds, they will pass Panama here in Group B of League A and gain an automatic qualifying spot for the 2021 Concacaf Gold Cup.
There'll be some work to do for Panama. They won't find till June if they make the Gold Cup. If Bermuda does pass them either way, they go down to League B, which would be another huge surprise. Along with Trinidad going down. Interesting times here in the inaugural season of Concacaf Nations League in League A. Still some work to do, but they're hanging in there, Bermuda.
There's the substitute, Roberto Alvarado. Well defended by Clemens. Substitutes battling on that far side. At eyes for Naki Wells, well defended by Luis Romo. Past the line there, Antuna, Cordova, brave header to get it away. There's Pizarro on the volley, just over the bar.
Well, it didn't miss by much. Pizarro has one thing on his mind, and this is not an easy play to execute as this one gets headed out. Cleared very well here by Bather, and then Pizarro. A quick shot goes over the bar, but not a bad effort.
Cordova. Trying to find Jimenez, too long for him. Again, the tempo favoring Bermuda. Time for a snack on the sideline.
I'm not quite sure I've ever seen that before, but I guess he's got time, he thinks, and that's his concentration piece, maybe.
Maybe expel some nervous energy or show Mexico he's not the slightest bit concerned. Here's Jimenez, saved by Eve.
Wow. Maybe he doesn't have as much concern because he has faith in Dale Eve, who's been outstanding the entire night. Jimenez, I'm sure, you can see from that angle, he's onside. Does this one come off his shoulder, maybe? Off his chest, he tries to chest it in. It wasn't a header. Surprise technique here. He even caught a bit of the arm, then he has another snap at it with his head. Bermuda now has gone the other way.
Sometimes you need a little bit of luck. Bermuda side on that sequence. Wells thought he was fouled. He's very frustrated. Great diagonal ball. Antuna, slight heavy touch and cleaned up well at the back by Bermuda.
See, man, that's the difference between a goalkeeper and non-goalkeeper. I say it's great positioning. Some call it luck in the end of the day.
That's a fair point.
Just a different way to look at it from a goalkeeper's perspective.
It's like anything. You have to be in position to make the save.
That's right.
Good pullback from Calderon. Nearly there.
See, in this particular play, if you're a goalkeeper, you say he had it covered.
Yes.
Right? That's how you look at it. It's all a matter of perspective, but a pretty good cut inside. Calderon's been pretty active. This is by quite a bit here at that far post, but does give Dale Eve something to think about. He'll slow it down as much as possible at the moment. He's just kind of hanging on and hoping to get one or two more opportunities.
Nobody there. A slightly rushed effort that time. Justin Denawa.
I think he's actually having a look at goals. This bounces up, one of those where you try and get it up and down over the goalkeeper. The same manner that Pizarro just a few minutes ago had that top spin on it, but he misses it. Doesn't catch it right, obviously.
Martino looking on as Pizarro goes through midfield. Again, we see Cordova dropping off into a pocket to facilitate. He might have the most touches for Mexico tonight. Wide to the right. Blocked delivery. Good step from the debutant, Luis Romo. Mexico with the throw-in.
Is there one more opportunity here for Bermuda on the counter? Mexico, you think they're going to have 3 or 4 opportunities here before this one's all said and done. Can Bermuda survive a few of those? Try and pinch one on a break.
Delivery from the left, easily cleared. Now decision-making comes in for Bermuda. When they win the ball, how they decide to play. That pass was too long for Clemens.
You know what Jimenez has done to this Mexican side as the ball gets wide, it's all about crosses. There's no more combining at the top of the box. It'll be Pizarro that'll have to go in. Maybe Cordova. But you don't have that same movement from Macias that you had from Macias coming back now and pulling defenders out. As Jimenez is a little bit more of a target player, especially as deep as Bermuda is right now. There's no spaces in the channels for him to run into.
Pizarro asked for contact, no whistle. 80th minute from Toluca. Mexico 1, Bermuda 1. Good game plan for Bermuda. They've executed. Big night from their goalkeeper, Dale Eve. A few big stops in the first half, few more after the break. Brangman, another domestic-based player in Bermuda out of Southampton Rangers SC. Man throwing it in. So we see Danawa go down near the center circle.
It's a lot of work for wingers tonight if you're in a blue jersey.
Now Bermuda has one change available. Might be for Danawa here, who is grabbing his right hamstring.
Well, once those cramps start creeping in, I say all the time, they never really get better. They can only get worse from here. You can see some cramping going on at the moment. What the referee wants him to do at the moment is yelling at the trainer to get him off.
The physiotherapist, Craig Brown, protecting his player here. And there's the final change. LeJean Simmons, another player from Robin Hood FC in Bermuda. The final change for Kyle Lightbourne. 22nd cap for the 26-year-old LeJean Simmons. Good pressure from Bermuda. They had Mexico pinned in. Romo concedes the throw-in.
All the cards have been played by both managers now. There's Simmons, maybe for Bermuda, who is a natural forward, and maybe one sprint up this left-hand side. Give Bermuda something on a counter.
Dropped to the edge of the box. Corner kick for Bermuda. Here is where the goal came from in the first half. 10 minutes in from Dante Leverock.
I think as you're taking this, you're waiting for Leverock to get forward. He's been a force in the air. There he is. Coming into your screen now. You also have as a target Butterfield, who's come into the game here late, who's another target.
Second corner. They play it short. Clever skill. Runners in the box. And now Mexico will try to break. Bermuda wins it back. Wayward shot from Lee.
I gotta say, I'm a little bit miffed by this. As you score a goal off a corner kick, you bring your big man forward, and you go short. Now your big men have to run 100 yards back down the other side, and they never saw service in the air.
Perhaps they felt rushed. We heard a few whistles from Ismael Cornejo. You seldom see a ref rush a team from a corner. Perhaps feeling the crowd and all that, he whistled a few times for them to hurry up, which seemed a little bit rushed. Wasn't too long after the corner was given.
Yeah, the ball never got into the danger, and I think that's what you got to look at if you're Kyle Lightbourne. How do you How do you manage that? How do you teach your players that? Had to be some kind of a shout.
There's a delivery and a clearance. Blankendale on his debut had to get it right, and he did. As we saw, it was just the second corner for Bermuda, so their first corner, 1 for 1, they scored. It's Cordova from the corner. Oh, that's steered just wide. The defender getting forward, Hector Moreno.
Well, there's the difference there. You got Moreno going forward. You got Jimenez in the box. You got Romo going forward. You got Edson Alvarez in the box. You play to your strength, and that's to put the ball in the danger area. That's what happened and almost led to a goal here for Mexico.
Free kick to Bermuda. Every free kick draws them a little bit closer to full time and a berth in the 2021 Concacaf Gold Cup.
What a feat this would be for Bermuda. I'm sure when they looked at this Nations League schedule, they said at some point, if we're going to get to the Gold Cup, we got to avoid going to Mexico to have to do it in the last game of Group A Nations League. Well, they're here now. They're just a few minutes away. Now they have another opportunity. I'm going to imagine that this one is going to be swung in the box.
Gonzalez ready in his goal. Clearing header. Mexico will try and break. Alvarado. And Clemens, a veteran play. He did not want to allow that counterattack to happen.
Well done here, breaking it up in midfield.
And really the difference for Panama right now is the goal difference. They lost by 1 fewer goal than Bermuda in one of their games. They're level on points with Bermuda entering this match, so if Bermuda would lose by a goal, Bermuda and Panama would be level on points. Bermuda would be 2 goals worse on goal difference. Alvarado, nifty dribbling, he's in the box, pulls it back for Romo. Now Jimenez dropping off, dispossessed. Not looked as sharp as you might expect coming into this game late.
Yeah, no space to run into, clogged box. The service has to be perfect. He's got to find some space in the box. It's not easy. Hasn't been easy for Mexico the entire night. The majority of their stuff has come from outside the box, shots from distance, a few crosses that have ended up with opportunities, but as I mentioned, that deep of a team you're defending as Bermuda is defending, it makes it really, really difficult to find space.
Alberto Alvarado, Cruz Azul man in the attacking half. Pizarro, great layoff back for Alvarado, and the final ball is just a slight touch too long. It was there for Jimenez. He did his best to get there. Here is another look.
Pizarro gets out of this one nicely. Alvarado, good touch, but the connection once again is just off. It's that final moment that's eluded Mexico here in this second half.
Now Wells the other way, just past the post. It would have been a game winner, possibly for Naki Wells.
Wow. One ball over the top, beats the Mexican defense. Now this is 3 or 4 times in this second half. If you're Tata Martino, you're concerned about that, because if Bermuda is sharper on the night, there could be 2 or 3 goals on the counter that they have to deal with.
Wide on the right, Antuna. LA Galaxy man. Dispossessed, but it's still a Mexico throw-in. Sanchez. Back for Cordova. That's an easy claim, and that's where I feel like Mexico almost resorting to that cross. It's Jimenez in there with 4 Bermudan defenders.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. It's become more of a get the ball wide and get it swung in the box to Jimenez. There hasn't been all that the combination play at the top of the box, all that much service on the ground, in between defenders.
Pizarro. Alvarez.
There's a little bit of a combination there that doesn't come off. It's really the first one.
You can see Wells trying to draw the foul there. Self-pass, ran into the Mexican defender. Corneo was wiser to it. And now Mexico with space. Their center back's getting forward. It's Edson Alvarez. Now Jorge Sanchez. Pizarro. Eve. Two-handed punch away. Knocked down. And Eve gets there. Vital challenge from the substitute Butterfield. He got involved.
Jimenez there, hunched over as he went up with Eve. Came out strong once again. He's been sharp the entire night.
I'm up in the Stoke City Academy, just 24 years of age. 90th minute from Toluca. Mexico 1, Bermuda 1. "23 shots for Mexico, 7 for Bermuda." Another delivery from the left. Not long enough for Jimenez. Leverock heads away. "6 minutes, make that 5, I beg your pardon, at the end of the second half.
That's one of the numbers that Bermuda didn't want to see go up there, that's for sure. Can they hang on for 5 more minutes?
Well, don't forget about the cat who made his way on the field. And there has been a lot of stoppages with Bermudan players receiving treatment. It's been a new emphasis from FIFA the last few years, is really trying to be more accurate with stoppage time. Sent in, headed away, top of the box, and cleared off the back of Alvarado. It's a Bermuda throw-in.
Bermuda will take their time here getting to this one, kill as much of this clock as they can, and the referee can wave all he wants right now. You're not going to see a Bermudan player in this case, Blankendahl, run after this one. You know it's at stake, Bermuda. They'll take all their time, and they throw it right back to Mexico.
This would do the job for Mexico in the competition. They would clinch the #1 seed with this point, but for fans and media and the expectations in the team, a draw at home never enough. Good skill on the far side. Alvarado, he's crossing, but they cannot clear Leverock. He has won everything in the air defensively tonight.
Really has.
Pizarro turning. Cordova tried to pull it back, and now it's out to Naki Wells. He goes 1 versus 4, and he might just take it to that corner. Wells falls on it. And then he grabs the leg of Alvarez. He's on a yellow card. He must be careful.
Yeah, I think Alvarez grabbed the back of his head first and he reached for the leg. But Alvarez, as you mentioned, is not the one on the yellow card. It's Naki Wells, but I don't think the referee is interested at this point in stopping it any more than he has to. Can Bermuda hang on here in this last 3.5 minutes, 2.5 minutes, sorry, that they'll have to deal with here.
Romo and Sanchez on this right side for El Tri. Cordova. Antuna! It's a late winner for Mexico! He's popped up in the box time and again tonight.
Well, you talk about heartbreak here for Bermuda. They had hung on and hung on and hung on, and then had to deal with 5 minutes of extra time. And as you mentioned, Antuna has popped up in the box, but it hasn't been his night. Bermuda will take a look at this one as Antuna beats the offside trap. They were deep. We had talked about it the entire second half. There hadn't been much combination play. We'll see who keeps them on here as it's at that back post.
It looked like Brangman, number 8.
It was Brangman here at the back post, and he keeps Antuna on, who calmly takes the first touch, looks up at Dale Eve, who's been a hero the entire night. Absolutely nothing he could do here as Antuna buries this one late, which is likely the winner for Mexico.
7th goal in just 12 appearances for El Tri, for Uriel Antuna, the 22-year-old. Here comes Pizarro the other way. And a yellow card shown. Lamb got him, and he ran away from the yellow. That is a backbreaker for Bermuda. Celebrations in Panama, I'm sure, as Pizarro was fouled. Now, if this score holds, Panama 2nd place in Group B of League A. They would gain the automatic qualification for the 2021 Concacaf Gold Cup. Bermuda have to wait till June and win a 2-leg playoff against a winner of the March 2-leg series between teams from League B and League C.
Well, I don't think we've seen the last of Bermuda in this competition. I wouldn't be surprised if they found their way through those playoff rounds and gotten into the Gold Cup. Unfortunately, they're going to go down to League B here. Should this score remain.
Alvarado with the restart. On top of the net, not far from the upper corner. Oh, Antuna drawing interest from Benfica this fall. And he scores another for El Tri. Mexico does the job. They beat Bermuda 2-1. Not the best home performance from the CONCACAF Giants, but a win for Mexico. And they and Panama gained the automatic Gold Cup berths from Group B. And in some ways, a building performance for Bermuda, but for the moment, disappointment.
Yeah, disappointment, no doubt about it. The counter was on the entire second half. They had some opportunities. They should be proud of their performance. Dale Eve stood on his head. Nothing he could do on both goals. From a Mexican standpoint, frustrating, I would think, for Mexican fans, for Tata Martino. Not nearly clinical enough in that final third of the field, in that final moment, in that final pass, until Uriel Antuna stepped up, took that first touch, good combination play, and put an end to this one, giving Mexico a 2-1 win on a night where it wasn't great for Tata Martino's men.
Here are the full-time highlights from Toluca, Estadio Nemesio Diaz. Here's the opening goal for Bermuda.
Yeah, Leverock gets up over everybody, and early in this one, 10th minute, Bermuda goes up 1-0. Show that they can be dangerous on restarts here. Leverock have been great with every aerial duel the entire night. You can see there Hugo Gonzalez retreating to his left. Can't get back to his right. And then this cut here by Sebastian Cordova buries it to that far post. Cool as you like. Dale Eve, who had been spectacular leading up to this point, absolutely nothing he could do here as the cut is made. Bascom, and the shot buried to that far post. This is how they went into the dressing room. There were some opportunities for Mexico. It was, again, a frustrating night for them in the box. They weren't clinical enough. They weren't sharp enough. And eventually there was a breakthrough. This was Jimenez who would come in the game in the 71st minute here. J.J. Macias has his first opportunity, a second crack at it with his head. Interesting technique there just to try and steer it on goal. If it goes in, it's a spectacular one, but Dale Eve, once again, just another one for the highlight reel. And then eventually the backbreaker here, Jimenez with a combination over the top, so he couldn't provide a goal, but he provides the assist right here. What a great ball played in. And what a great finish as Butterfield looked to slow down the substitute for Bermuda. You can see there just an inch of space for Antuna to bury it underneath the left arm of Dealive.
A big goal for Antuna. The assist from Jimenez off the bench. And here are the full-time stats. Possession, you'd expect 25 shots for El Tri, 7 corners. And Bermuda also can take pride in the fact that they lost to Mexico at home 5-1. They go on the road, they nearly get a draw. Stoppage time winner for El Tri.
Yeah, it's a learning experience, no doubt about it. They'll get better from this, they'll learn from it. And they'll take some pride in the fact, as you mentioned, that they can go to Mexico and they can get a result against the giant of Concacaf. Now they've got some work to do to try and get into the Gold Cup, but as we saw tonight, they have some pieces to the puzzle that we think could get it done for them.
For our entire crew, thank you for tuning in. A good atmosphere in Toluca on a chilly night. And Mexico breaking Bermudian hearts. The Gombe Warriors to the playoff next year. Mexico, the best team in Liga here in the Nations League. Full time from Estadio Nemesio Diaz. It's Mexico 2 and Bermuda 1.